Itay, how are you, mate?
Good. How are you?
Very good. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and get the opportunity to speak to you and understand a little bit about the dynamic of media and communicating to media with for Israel.
So what we do here at the consulate, we are the sort of like the link between the Israeli government and the American press, mainly the one in the East Coast. But most of the national outlets are here in New York. You have your Wall Street Journal, New York Times, CNN, Fox News. Everyone are here, and we are sort of like bridging between what's happening in Israel to them, mediating to them, providing them with content, answering their questions, providing interviews. I myself speak with the press. And when it comes to wartime, such as now, everything becomes much more intensive. We're talking about 3-4 interviews a day from someone from the consulate. We're talking about a few press releases every week. There's a lot of questions, and we are here to advocate for Israel, but mainly to provide the press for what they need.
So when you talk about providing the press for what they need, how critical is it for you as the Israeli consulate to ensure that everything that is delivered can be as best as possible utilized in a positive way and not shifted and changed to hurt us? Or do you look at it as an aspect of we give everything and allow the media to do with it as they may?
So we are not an honest broker. We're not just providing information for what's happening in Israel. Obviously, we are working for the Israeli government, and everyone understands it. And we provide the materials that we think is balanced and show our side of the story. But of course, it's the materials that we believe in and that serves the narrative of Israel. Having said that, when you build a relationship with the press, with journalists, you need to be honest and you need to be someone they can trust. So I myself, I believe to show them the full picture. I believe that we can show them the full picture because the truth is with us and we don't need to hide anything. The more they see, the more they understand, the more the coverage would be balanced and therefore positive for Israel. So we try to really show them everything, let them decide, hope that we think that if they're informed, there's only two other qualities they need. They need to be decent and they need to be rational. If you're decent, you have integrity and you're rational and you're informed, you will be with Israel.
So with that perspective of if they're rational, then they'll be with Israel. Often we've found there are media leaders, there are people in the media that still, nevertheless, push that other tone and push against Israel. Have you had to have any of those difficult conversations after the fact where you've spoken to these people that have pushed a negative to Israel line and had to bring them back to understanding why we're doing what we're doing?
So we speak with everyone. We don't speak only with the journalists that covers us well. Actually, the opposite. Our job is to speak with those who do not cover us well. And I can tell you that there's a big difference between professionally and personal level. Some journalists who are terrible with Israel, they're great friends of mine, and I like spending time with them. Of course, now it's a very sensitive time, and if somebody is really supporting Hamas, it will affect personally. But I believe in personal connection, and I believe that I can convince and I can speak to the heart of those who I connect with. So I think I did manage to change some hardliners with Israel. Um, the best way to do it, and the thing that I think was the most effective, is when I brought a group of them to Israel last year. And this worm, we now see that many of them are much more understanding of what Israel is doing, and much more balanced.
Are you able to speak anecdotally on any conversations that you've had since October 7th that have shifted the minds or the way in which media speak about our situation?
One of the most effective things that I noticed that really changed minds is the briefing and the screening that we do of the October 7 video. The footage, the raw footage that Hamas took with their body cam, and it's a compilation of a few different body cams, CCTV, first responders, but the result is 47 minutes of the, now everybody knows that video, but very few watched it. And it's really amazing to see how people go into that room in our consulate, and the way they leave the room. It's you cannot see it and still be supporting anything but the elimination of Hamas after you've seen it. So that's very effective. I believe that we managed to really made an impact with it. I can tell you an example. Just this week, last week, we've shown it to Chris Cuomo, and later on he made a video which is an amazing clip. He spoke in his show, but he posted it on Twitter. It got almost 12 million views, and it was shared by thousands of people who are not necessarily supporters of Israel. So that definitely made a difference.
That's a great video that everyone's spoken about. How that video though is not able to be seen by the public. So with that difficulty of not being able to share the extremity of what's occurred, yeah, how have you been able to, as as the Israeli government, still tell people that what's in that video without showing them?
So that's a great question, and I think it goes into a broader issue in which the difference between those who are decision makers, people in head of media, journalists, those people who I believe that are very informed, and I believe that this time around, unlike other conflicts, are very much supportive of Israel and its cause because they understand. And the masses, the public, who are less informed and therefore is more subjected to disinformation, negative campaigns against Israel. And we can really see the division. We see it now with young people. Okay, we see it with more than 50% of people between 18 to 24 that they support Hamas, or support, at least not support the Israelis. I gotta say, with all being humble, we cannot reach the masses. We are a small consulate. It's a small media department. It's big compared to other consulates, but it's still 5 people with, the United States, which is like more than 250,000 people. So we focus our efforts on those who are, you can define them as decision makers, opinion leaders, thought leaders. I like to define them on that case as gatekeepers of truth. Okay? Those are the people in media, those are the presidents of network, those are the journalists, those are the anchors. And with them, I think that we can really make a change. And they can really make a difference, and they can talk about it in their show, They can filter things that are not appropriate. We had in the first screening, we had your 5 presidents of networks, of Fox News, of NBC News, of Reuters, and so on and so on. When they see it and when they know what they know, they will make an extra effort to prevent from disinformation and from things that are just dishonest to be on their platform.
So you speak about the shows, right? On these shows, often they want to have two sides of the debate. We have to pitch our perspective, why we're doing what we're doing, and then we have to listen to the other opinion. Has there been any point since October 7th when you've heard the opposing point of view and been stumped?
Absolutely, all the time. Not personally being on the show, but as a viewer, I've seen things that I was ashamed that this is on TV. I've seen people denying that there was a rape, any rape. I've seen people blaming Israel for the October 7 massacre. So yeah, definitely you have those voices. They're not that common. They're not everywhere. They're in some of the places. But of course they're there, and when we see it, when we are exposed to it, one of my job as spokesperson for Israel is to make sure that this network are aware that we've seen it and we think that they should act by it. Sometimes just sending a WhatsApp to an editor is enough. I'm watching, I'm seeing it. Maybe next time you will do an extra effort to prevent something like that.
So I meant more. That's very interesting insight, and I appreciate that. But what I was referring to is more: has there been a statement that's been said by the other perspective, which has made you have to think, oh, possibly we're in the wrong here?
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, when I'm seeing images from Gaza, from what's happening to Palestinians there, it touches me. Like it's very sad to see what's happening, and I think it's natural that I have second thoughts about, maybe we shouldn't bomb these areas. Luckily, I'm not the decision makers, and I don't have to make this decision. I'm not flying an airplane, and I'm not the commander of the unit, and I'm not the prime minister. If you're talking about an argument of the other side, frankly, it's rare for me that it happens, but when it does, it's usually something that is more of a personal story of someone sharing something that happened to his family, someone sharing something that happened to him, and talking about how he was hurt from the whole conflict. And then I do have empathy for them. Rationally, when I have to make a cold decision, I really believe in the cause.
Fair enough.
Which is the cause, of course, is to make sure that October 7 never repeats itself. We cannot allow Hamas sitting on our borders, and we have to do anything that we can to eliminate these organizations. And if it means that we need to go on with a war that has, unfortunately, over 100 Israeli soldiers already lost their life, and it's tragic. And a lot of Palestinians are also lost their life and their homes, and it's tragic. War is tragic, but I do believe that we need to continue and do everything we can.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think one of the lines whenever I speak to non-Jewish friends who ask about that situation, I always say we need to eliminate Hamas as we eliminated the Nazis, and hope that the Gaza of tomorrow is the Germany of today.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, and sorry to interrupt you. Not less important, we need to bring all of our hostages back home. I think that one of the things that I noticed here in media is that the hostages still speaks loud here, and there's a lot of respect and they support our effort to bring back our hostages. And I prefer always to speak about this issue, A, because it's the right thing to do, and we need to do everything we can to have more attention into this issue, and B, because it's definitely the side of this ongoing news cycle in which we are always on the right side. We are always, the justice is always with us.
Well, let's touch on that for a moment then. When you walk into the consulate here, it's jarring how you see all of the hostages' faces, all of their ages, all of their names. You being the communication point for media, have, I assume, had to have tough conversations with family members, ask them to attend interviews or hear their stories so that you can communicate those over. Are you able to touch on what that experience has been like for you, and if there have been any points in that stand out to you?
Definitely. It's one of the hardest things in this job. You know, meeting families of hostages. Many of them come here to New York. They come here because they want to speak with media, they want to speak with decision makers, they want to speak with Jewish organizations. And every week we have a delegation of different families, and it's never easy to hear their stories and to see how they still live in October 7. You know, they still their life is frozen on October 7, and they have a missing part in their heart. And hearing their stories, you know, of course, it impacts you in to every bone. And I'm trying as much as I can to reflect it to media, sometimes by off the record briefings and telling them, you know, the story and how it is, because I wanted to connect with it, and of course, bringing this to the attention of media and the viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for your time.